This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. A portion of today's video is brought to you by Keeps. Donald Trump gave a speech in New Hampshire over the weekend on Veterans Day. Remember how I've been talking about that the closer we get to the election, the more radical Donald Trump is going to become. It's going to become open and outward. It's not going to be coded or general radicalism. His 2016 version had to be bested by the 2020, and the 2024 has to go even further down the path of autocratic, tough guy nonsense to be taken seriously by MAGA world. And he's doing it. He's now invoking language that was used word for word by Adolf Hitler against the Jews, against communists, against the threats from within. Dehumanizing language that he's so proud of that he also turned it into a post on Truth Social. We are in a dangerous time for marginalized people in this country, for liberals, for Democrats, for people who oppose the agenda of Donald Trump. And if we use history as a guide, we should all be very alarmed at what is taking place. I'm going to get to this. I got a clip that is bananas. And I've got quotes from experts who study this. It's a lot. Before we do, though, a word from today's sponsor, Keeps. Some things you inevitably lose to time. My eyesight, for instance, is already well on its way. But some you can sustain, even regain. I've managed to hold on to these dashing good looks. Also my hair, with a little help. I found Keeps because I was starting to see more hair on the floor than ever before. You can't see it from this angle, but it's thinning a bit on the top and in the back. Keeps has helped almost 1 million guys like me maintain their hair with treatments that are clinically proven to work. Take care of your hair. Go to keeps.com/Dollemore to access a special offer, or just click the description link below. It is so easy. All Keeps treatments are recommended by a licensed medical provider from your own home. Treatments are then shipped straight to your door in discreet, non-branded packaging. Whether your aim is to prevent hair loss or you simply want to maintain your mane, Keeps has you covered. Head to keeps.com/Dollemore now, or click the link in the description to get started with your special offer. Hair loss stops with Keeps. So let me play this clip for you. This is a little longer than the one that if you're on Twitter and you saw this. This is a little longer. It gives a little fuller context of what he said. And let me tell you, this is dangerous language that we are not accustomed to hearing from a politician in the United States, from a former president of the United States. This is hateful, dehumanizing language that the likes of which we really haven't seen since a figure like Adolf Hitler. Some of these things that are being said it's just a rewind and repeat of things that were said in the past that led to mass graves. Here's Donald Trump in New Hampshire giving brazen, autocratic, tending toward genocidal language.
We will demolish the deep state. We're going to expel those horrible, horrible warmongers from our government. They want to fight everybody. They want to kill people all over the place, places we've never heard about before, places that want to be left alone. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media until they become real. We will evict Joe Biden from the White House, and we will finish the job that we started better than anybody has ever started a job before. The great silent majority is rising like never before, And under our leadership, the forgotten man and woman will be forgotten no longer. You're going to be forgotten no longer. With your help, your love, and your vote, we will put America first. And today, especially in honor of our great veterans on Veterans Day, we pledge to you that we will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country, that lie and steal and cheat on elections and will do anything possible. They'll do anything, whether legally or illegally, to destroy America and to destroy the American dream. The real threat is not from the radical right. The real threat is from the radical left, and it's growing every day, every single day. The threat from outside forces is far less sinister, dangerous, and grave than the threat from within. Our threat is from within, because if you have a capable, competent, smart, tough leader, Russia, China, North Korea, they're not going to want to play with us. And they didn't. Despite the hatred and anger of the radical left lunatics who want to destroy our country, we will make America great again.
That is troubling. That is a problem. We have a problem on our hands, that there's not one single Republican in office who has spoken out against this. I mean, you've got maybe your regular cast of characters who are critical of Donald Trump, like Mitt Romney, but nobody with any authority, nobody with any sway, with any pull, with any influence whatsoever is speaking out against this language. While anti-Semitism is on the rise across the world, Donald Trump is using exactly the same language as Adolf Hitler did. Art Spiegelman is the author of a graphic novel called Mouse and Mouse 2. Talks about his father's experience during the Holocaust. The same book, by the way, that Republicans are having banned across the country in libraries and schools, if that gives you any little added layer of flavor of what's going on right now. And he was interviewed by the New York Book Review, or the New York Review of Books, about it. And he was asked a specific question about using mice or rats and the dehumanizing language of using the word vermin. And his answer is so poignant. And look, this is from 2011, and it's discussing things in the Holocaust, which was in the 1940s, last century. And we're still having to talk about it now in America. This was the question asked of him. You've said that Hitler was your collaborator on Mouse. When did you become aware of the history of anti-Semitic caricature and stereotypes in creating your animals? And his answer is this. I began to read what I could about the Nazi genocide, which really was very easy because there was actually rather little available in English. The most shockingly relevant anti-Semitic work I found was, quote unquote, this is the title, The Eternal Jew, a 1940 German, quote-unquote, documentary that portrayed Jews in a ghetto swarming in tight quarters, bearded kaftan creatures, and then a cut to Jews as mice, or rather rats, swarming in a sewer with a title card that said, quote, Jews are the rats, or the, quote, vermin of mankind. This made it clear to me that this dehumanization was at the very heart of the killing project. In fact, Zyklon B, the gas used in Auschwitz and elsewhere as the killing agent, was a pesticide manufactured to kill vermin like fleas and roaches. And Donald Trump, by no accident, uses that language. Those were prepared remarks, likely written by someone like Stephen Miller. Now, experts have spoken. The Washington Post spoke to a few. Here's the title of this article if you want to go read the entire thing, and I recommend you do. Trump calls political enemies vermin, echoing dictators Hitler and Mussolini. On Veterans Day, the former president vowed to root out his liberal opponents, drawing backlash from historians who say his rhetoric is reminiscent of authoritarians. to root out his critics. I'm a critic. I'm a vocal critic. You know, I don't have the largest platform, but we get 8 to 10 million views a month. Certainly substantial enough to be on a list created by Donald Trump. These are what experts say, interviewed by the Washington Post. The language is the language that dictators use to instill fear, said Timothy Neftali, a senior research scholar at Columbia University School of International and Public Affairs. Quote, when you dehumanize an opponent, you strip them of their constitutional rights to participate securely in a democracy because you're saying they're not human. That's what dictators do. Ruth Ben-Ghiat, a historian at New York University, said in an email to the Washington Post that calling people vermin was used effectively by Hitler and Mussolini to dehumanize people and encourage their followers to engage in violence. Trump is also using projection. Note that he mentions all kinds of authoritarians, communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left to set himself up as the deliverer of freedom, Ben-Ghiat said. Mussolini promised freedom to his people too, and then declared dictatorship. And listen, if you're curious, if Donald Trump and his spokespeople have backed away and said, no, that's not what we meant, get this statement, get this response when asked about it. It's almost a double down. Stephen Chung, a Trump campaign spokesman, told the Post, those who try to make that ridiculous assertion are clearly snowflakes grasping for anything because they are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, and their entire existence will be crushed when President Trump returns to the White House. Their entire existence will be crushed, said Trump spokesperson when asked about his vermin comments, his dehumanizing comments that are a mirror image of those of genocidal maniacs in years past. And again, Trump was so proud of this moment, this crafted, scripted moment, that he posted on True Social too. We are in trouble. If you don't wake up, and I'm sure many of you are awake, but if the American people as a whole don't wake up to what is happening, the dangers at our front door, once again at our front door, because this is not the 2016 version of Donald Trump. This isn't even the 2020 version. This is a more amped up, ready to exact revenge on those who disagree. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. If you appreciate what I do, the research that I do, the analysis, the commentary, please consider supporting my work. Click the join button below. For $2 a month, you can become a channel member. You can hit the super thanks button. You can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. All these are great ways to help support the work of Trump critic, noted Trump critic, Jesse Dollemore. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky, all of them at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. And I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.